HealthyHouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support my show and get help growing your houseplants, check out my Patreon below. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how and why to use a light meter. Lighting is the key to healthy houseplants. Without sufficient lighting or the right lighting, houseplants won't thrive. And if you've seen my videos on lighting and even other videos, you probably have heard me say that many times. If you want to make sure that your houseplants have enough light, the best way to do that is with a plant light meter. A light meter, and here's one right here, enables you to accurately measure the quantity of light in each room and around your plants. You may think that your eyes are pretty good at determining the amount of light in your home, but once you try a light meter, you're probably going to be very surprised. You may find that your estimations are pretty far off, which can explain why you have ailing plants that aren't doing so well because they're lacking light, or they may be getting too much light. I do have videos on what it looks like in plants for too much light and what it looks like in plants for not enough light. I will link those videos below, as well as any other videos I mention in this video. So as mentioned, the right light is so critical, and these handy gadgets here help you determine the kind of lighting you have in your home. Knowing the exact amount of light a room receives helps you make the right decisions in plant placement. While you could use a photographer's light meter, they aren't designed to be sensitive to the same light wavelengths as the human eye, which is not what plants see and absorb. So it's a good idea to use a plant intensity light meter, like this one. These gadgets measure the wavelengths used for photosynthesis and chlorophyll production, which is what your plants need to do in order to remain healthy. Now, light meters usually show foot candles. They can also show lumens, but I'm going to talk about foot candles today because it's a pretty simple way to go about it. Now, the foot candle is the amount of light a candle gives off in all directions 1 foot from the flame. The light intensity of a sunny summer day is approximately 10,000 foot candles. Some meters show low, medium, or high. Others show the actual foot candle measurements like this one does. I'm going to turn it on right now to give you an idea. So here you go. You can see that the top number is the temperature. The bottom number is foot candles. So you'll see right there, it's going in between 49 to 56 foot candles. It's getting light from my lighting here that's coming at it from around the meter. I really like it when it has the actual numbers of foot candles rather than low, medium, high, because that's a little vague, right? So I would get one that has the actual foot candles. This one you can change to lux. There's a button to change to lux, but I have it on foot candles, FC foot candles. Okay, so there's, I'm going to give you tips for using a light meter, and then I do have down below lists of a lot of houseplants and the number of foot candles they require to be healthy. And I have it broken down into low light plants, which is 50 to 100 foot candles, medium light plants, 100 to 300 foot candles, and high light plants, 300 plus foot candles, okay? And I'll give you an idea of some of the plants in each of the lists. I'm not going to go through the whole list. It's exhaustive, and like I said, it's down below. You can easily look it up. Okay, so for tips for using the light meter, you want to measure the light intensity at the leaf level, and this is what's measuring it, right? So I want to get to the leaf level here, let it soak that up. Now right here it's like 30 something, right? And the 30 something is pretty low. Now the reason it's low is I have windows closed in here, and I have lighting for videoing here, for taping here, which is not the kind of light that you want for your houseplants. So it's different, right? So that's just to keep that in mind, but at least it's showing you how it can change. Now, if I get closer, it goes up, right? It's going up to 50, 60. So it also depends on, as I mentioned, Placement of your plants, how close your plants are. Now, if you're using something like full spectrum lighting, you're going to want to get right under the full spectrum lighting where you have the top of the plants. And I have a video on where you want to place plants under full spectrum lighting. I will link that as well as any other videos I mentioned in this video. So you will want to get to where your plant is placed in relation to the full spectrum lighting, and where your plant is placed in relation to the window. And with windows, you want to check various times of day, right? You want to check in the morning, you want to check in the afternoon, you want to check in midday, etc. That's to give you a really accurate reading. You want to take readings, as I mentioned, different times of day, different locations. Now, say you're thinking about moving a plant like this beautiful Coleus here, which, by the way, is a medium light plant requiring 100 to 300 foot candles. Okay, so say I have this in my dining room right now. It's looking good, but maybe I really like to move to my living room. You can go to your living room, make sure that you have the correct foot candles in that space before you go and move the plant there, okay? Same thing would go for something like this, for this beautiful peperomia here. Peperomias are low light plants, okay? So they will get actually burned pretty easily, washed out if they get too much light. So if I'm going to move this, I want to make sure that it's a low enough foot candles where I would be moving it. And then something like this beautiful Hoya, which does require a high light requirement plant, a low on the lower end of highlight, but 300 plus foot candles. So say if I want this guy to, especially to bloom for me, I'm gonna want to move it. If I'm moving it, say, to a highlight area, would want to check with this and make sure I get up to 300 plus foot candles, right? Or say it's not blooming for me. This is another great thing about having a light meter and having a more precise gauge, right? So say you have something that's supposed to be flowering, like a Hoya, and it's just not flowering, and make sure too that the plant that you want to flower does need high light to flower. For instance, African violets need a lower light to flower, so make sure you do understand the requirements of your plant. I have a bunch of plant care videos. I will link my plant care playlist below, and that tells you exactly how much light you need for each of the various plants. Okay, so as mentioned, say something isn't doing what it's supposed to do, like flowering for you, or fruiting if you're growing fruits and vegetables indoors, then you can use this thing, this beautiful intensity meter, and I put a link below for some good ones down there. You can use this beauty to figure out what's going on with the lighting so that you can find the perfect places in your home for your various plants and the various needs of your plants. So I did mention that I would mention a few plants and what they require. I mentioned here what these require. The low light plants that would require the lower foot candles: arrowhead vine, cast iron plant, Chinese evergreen, various Dracaenas, peace lily, Pothos. So I give you some of those. Medium light plants, there's quite a few medium light plants. As mentioned, the Coleus, African violet, also Ctenanthe, Croton, Dieffenbachia, goldfish plant, grape ivy, purple velvet plant, ficus, the various ficuses, Schefflera. That gives you a good overview. And as mentioned, link below, a list below for a much more thorough list below. And then highlight plants: begonia, this Hoya, beautiful Hoya here, zebra plant, citrus, as I mentioned, if you're trying to grow the fruiting plants indoors, vegetables, if you're trying to grow vegetables indoors like tomatoes, things like that, you would need that highlight. Okay, so there you go for how to use this really handy tool here, the plant light intensity meter or light meter, but just make sure it's for plants, not for photography. And that will help you grow really healthy plants in your indoor garden. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.